Welcome to Spanish Fork 17. This is the Region 10 volleyball game. It is the Spanish Fork Dons against the Lehi Pioneers. Spanish Fork coming into this game 11-2, and not only leading their region, but leading the Class 4A totally in the state. They are #1 in the state as of right now, but Lehi is also a contender here at 19-9 and is 4-1 away. As it tips off here, there's the receive. It is an overpass, and that is going to be the first point of the game for the Lehi Pioneers. An error there on the overpass by the Spanish Fork libero, as it is an early 1-0 lead for the Pioneers, and that is going to be an ace for the Pioneers. An ace there by number 8, Macy Faddis, who goes up for another one. That one is received, and the set over, and that is going to be the first point of the game for the Dons on a nice kill by number 6. Score is now 2-1, Lehi over Spanish Fork. As #1 Ray Condi goes for the serve. That is going to be hit over to Spanish Fork's side. Set it up again, and it goes boom, just like the first one as it goes out of bounds, and the Dons have now tied this first set up 2-2 off 2 hits by number 6 as Condi once again gets herself ready for the next serve. There it is. It goes into the net, and that's going to be an error, service error there by Condi. That's going to give the Pioneers their lead back as the score is now 3-2, Lehi over Spanish Fork. It's going to be a nice play by the Pioneers front line. Did a nice job to recover there by Spanish Fork. Another nice job there as well. And they're going to hustle over there, but it's not going to be quite enough as Lehi scores another point there off the decent volley there. Serving is number 28 for the Pioneers, Millie Gibson, a freshman for the Pioneers. And that's going to be a nice receive there. It gets sent over. A good set for the middle, and it goes off the hands, but also in. A nice play there by the middle there for the Pioneers. The score is now 5-2, Lehi over Spanish Fork here in the first set. And Gibson's going to have another shot here to extend the lead on this serve. And that is going to sail up and out of bounds. Service error there by Gibson gives the ball back to the Dons. The score is now 5-3 in favor of the Pioneers. There's the serve by number 6, and that is going to be an ace for the Dons. Hopefully a momentum swinger there for the Dons to be able to get themselves a little bit closer in this game, as now the lead tightens up to 5-4 for the Pioneers. That's going to be hit well, but it sails out of bounds. Another service error for the Dons. And it brings the score to 6-4 in favor of the Pioneers. Lehi is currently in 3rd place in the region, but certainly has shown their mettle as that goes into the net. Another service error, this one by number 15, Julia Holt. My mistake, that is number 15 for the Pioneers, Avery Schuwell. And there's the serve, a good setup, and a great dig. Even though it was an overpass, that is a nice play there. And that is going to sneak in play. A great hit. Oh, and they're actually going to call that one out of bounds, and that is going to be the Dons ball. So actually they've now tied this thing up at 6-6. That was a nice tip there by the outside hitter, as the ball once again goes back to the Pioneers. Score is now 7-6. This is a tight one here in the first set. As that one is put up. A beautiful set, but just a bit out of reach of number 11 there. And the ball heads on back to the Pioneer side as they've extended their lead now to 8-6. Still a close match. This is anyone's game. These are two Titanic teams here in Region 10. As that one sails out of bounds, a service error by the Pioneers. That gives the Dons the ball back as the score is now 8-7 Lehi over Spanish Fork. Number 5 is now set to serve. A great up, but a little bit out of the way, so that's going to be a free ball. A little bit of miscommunication there between number 15 and number 11, and that is going to tie the game up for the Dons. As I said, a little bit of miscommunication working in the Dons' favor on that part as the score is now tied up. There's the up, there's the set. They go up for the block, but it is unsuccessful and it sneaks in bounds, as that is a great hit by the Pioneers, and they once again get the ball back and keep their lead. This time it is 9-8. Number 26 for the Pioneers set to serve. And that is going to gently caress the net and somehow manage to fall down on Spanish Fork's side. A nice ace there for number 26. It extends the lead to 10-8 for the Pioneers. And the Pioneers have been very impressive on the road. They actually are 4-1 on the season on the road. So this is certainly a game where Spanish Fork's undefeated home stretch could be in jeopardy. So that's set over to the outside. A nice dig. And that's going to be a free ball. Gets it over to the Pioneers side. Going to be a set for the middle. And it's going to be a little too hot for number 5 to handle, as the Pioneers are going on a little mini run here, as the score is now 11-8 for Lehi, but still a manageable opportunity here for the Dons to get themselves back in the game. There's going to be a bump set over, and that's going to be a nice little knuckleball that didn't quite fall. And that's going to be right at the net. Nice play. There's the set to the outside. A decent effort there on the attempted dig by number 6, but not quite enough for the Dons, as that is another point for the Pioneers. The score is now 12-8 here in the first set. Number 28 with the serve. And that is going to be another free ball. It's going to get set up to the outside. The blocks were up and not quite enough, but a great dig by number 6. Gets it over to the outside. And once again, going to be another free ball. And that one, is going to be hit. They're going to send it on over, another free ball. And that is also going to be hit. Another one up in the air, back to the outside. This is a great volley. Absolutely great volley by both teams. And there it finally is, the hit by number 11, Emma Argyle, the senior. Finally, the deciding point in that particular volley. The Dons get the ball back, and the score is now 12-9, Lehi over Spanish Fork. Now it's Argyle's turn to serve. And that one is going to be into the net. Another service error by the Dons. Pioneers will get the ball back and the point there. The lead is now 13-9 for the Pioneers. Number 21 gets the serve. Condi sets up the set. And that is a nice kill by number 23 after the nice set there by Condi to get her in a good position, able to find a hole in the Pioneer defense. Another potential for a momentum swing here for the Dons as 23 now goes back to serve. Score is 13-10. There's a set to the outside and a block by number 10 and number 1. A nice combination block there for the Dons. Gives them another point here to help reduce that lead. The score is 13-11, my mistake at this point. 23 with the serve. This one is in the middle, and another block by the Dons. And that is going to be a bit of an overpass. Oh, but a nice recovery. And an absolutely killer backward set by Condi to get the point there. Great awareness to have seen that. And that is going to be a timeout as the score is now 13-12, the Lehi Pioneers over the Spanish Fork Dons. And we'll be back with more here on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17 and this great match between the Spanish Fork Dons and the Lehi Pioneers. The Dons have their undefeated home record on the line here, as this is a close one here in the first set. It is 13-12 in favor of the Pioneers as 23 serves it up for the Dons. That's going to be to the outside, and a nice block and an even greater recovery there by the Dons. Gets it back over again, over to the outside. It is not touched, and that is a point for the Dons. And once again, this one is all tied up. There's been a couple ties already in this game as this one's been close. It's now 13-all. The set is over to the outside. Once again, the blockers were there, but not quite, as it gets over their hands, and then it is sent out of bounds. Point to the Lehi Pioneers as they once again retake the lead. The score is now 14-13. Lehi over Spanish Fork. Comes the serve from number 8. Set by Condi over to the outside, and a great hit over there by number 6, but it is dug up. Another set and over to number 6. This one cross court, but a little high and out of bounds, as that's going to be another point for the Pioneers. Currently on the service line is number 8, Macy Faddis for the Pioneers. Again, the score is 15-13. Conti sends it over to the other side this time. This time it is successful. A good set there and a nice hit there by number 10, Kennedy Charlton. Score is now 15-14 for the Pioneers. Conti sends it over, and it is going to be an overpass and a nice dunk there by Charlton. Doing exactly what you want to see out of a middle on that particular play. Nice awareness, sends it straight down, and the score is once again tied up. It's 15-all. Now it's going to be a service error for the Dons as Conti sends that one well beyond the outline. The Pioneers retake their lead at 16-15. Serving is number 28 for the Pioneers. That one is up. And that's going to be a free ball. Libero had to dig a little deep on that one. Oh, a sneaky hit by number 13, as that is going to go over to number 11, and that is going to sail out of bounds. Point to Lehi to extend their lead now to 17-15. Number 28, Millie Gibson, is on the service line for the Pioneers. A nice dig by number 6, Conti heads it over, and number 5 is able to hit it right through the block. A great kill for the Dons. Score is now 17-16. The Dons are only down by 1 at this point, but this has been a very competitive first set, which you would have expected from these teams, as they are both top teams in Region 10 here in Class 4A here in Utah. Oh, an absolutely monster kill by number 13, Lydia Montag, the senior for the Pioneers. It is actually going to be waved off, as it looks like it was waved off because they hit the net, so it actually is 17-all. But second time is the charm. This time she's able to land it down. Another nice hit there by Montag. And every time the Dons have gotten close, the Pioneers have come out with an answer, as they are once again up 18-17 here in this first set. They're able to get it over. Another set to the middle. Oh, a great dig, but just because of the basketball hoop, hard to see where that was going, but an even more phenomenal pancake save, and to get it back over the net. Some great teamwork there by the Dons. Oh, and a great play by Condi to then set up number 5. Wow. That is a stellar play by the Dons. Looks like there's a bit of a conversation between the referees here as to what may have just happened. As it stands right now, the score would be 18-all. They were just double checking to make sure that the pancake was in fact an actual dig, and it sure was. An absolutely phenomenal play, phenomenal volley for the Dons to be able to keep that point, as the score, as I said, is now tied 18-all. Sends Allison Wilson to the service line. That one's going to be headed to the outside, and that is just too much sauce. Another great kill by Montag. As once again, the Pioneers have the answers when it gets tied up. The score is now 19-18, Lehi over Spanish Fork. There's the setup. It's a monster shot. They were hoping for touch. The refs say no. And that's going to be a point for the Pioneers. Score is now 20-18. Sends it back over the other way, and just a bit high for number 5. Just going to be another point for the Pioneers. And that is going to be a timeout here by the Dons. The score is 21-18, Lehi Pioneers leading the Spanish Fork Dons, and we'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. This is the first set of this Region 10 4A matchup. It is the Spanish Fork Dons against the Lehi Pioneers. Pioneers with the ball and the lead. And another point for the Pioneers. That puts them now up 22-18 here in the first set. The set has been close for most of the time, with a couple of ties here so far even, but the Pioneers have always had answers when the Dons have had rallies. A phenomenal hit by number 6 that does get blocked, but it then goes out of bounds. A great play for the Dons as they get another point on the board. Score's now 22-19. Dons with the serve. And that is going to sail out of bounds. An unfortunate break for the Dons as it gives the Pioneers another point and the ball back. Score is now 23-19. Number 26, Eliza Gibson with the serve. Conti sends it to her middle. And they are able to find an open spot in the Pioneer defense. A nice job there. As the Dons get the ball back, and the score is now 23-20. And there's going to be another timeout on the field as the Dons have gone on a bit of a run here and are hoping to do more damage here as the score is 23-20 in favor of Lehi, and we'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. The score is currently 23-20. The Lehi Pioneers over the Spanish Fork Dons. There's the serve by number 11. They're able to get hands as that is going to be an overpass. And that is going to put the Pioneers within a point here. This is the potential set winner here for the Pioneers as number 21 goes to the service line. The score is 24-20, Pioneers over the Dons. And that is going to be way out of bounds. Very strong hit by number 21, but it does in fact sail out of bounds. Score is now 24-21. The Dons are going to need to go on a run here to be able to save this particular set. Service over to the outside, and number 15 gets the kill that will seal up set number 1 for the Pioneers. That is Bailey Jukes. And after the first set here, the score was 25-21, the Pioneers over the Dons. We are going to be right back for set number 2 here on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. This is the second set of this matchup of the Spanish Fork Dons against the Lehi Pioneers. As that one's going to be off the block, but sent back over the net. Bit of a free ball there for the Pioneers. Condi gets the set. Once again dug up by number 28. Sent on over, but the Dons block effective on that one. Gets it back over. This one set up to the outside. A good effort there by the Pioneers, but not quite enough, as the first point of this set will go to the Dons. Condi is back again on the service line. That one's going to be a hard one for the Pioneer setter, but a bit of a miss hit there by number 13, Montag, for the Pioneers, as the Dons have now built themselves a 2-0 lead here to start off the second set. Again, the Pioneers won the first set, and so it's important for the Dons to be able to establish their offense here. A nice set to the middle, as the Dons are looking great so far here in the second set, as they now bump their lead to 3-0. A nice kill there by Kennedy Charlton. Once again, a little bit of discussion by the refs. Just kind of get everything sorted out. Again, the Dons have had an impressive season here in 2018. Still sitting at first place in the region, as well as in 4A, as there is another point for the Dons. Again, that ceiling playing a bit of a part in that particular point, as the Dons take an early 4-0 lead here in set 2, and we'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. We are in the second set of this matchup between the Lehi Pioneers and the Spanish Fork Dons. The Dons currently have a 4-0 lead here in set 2. A nice tip shot and a nice play at the, lots of jousting there at the net. But eventually the point goes to the Pioneers. Just a bit of a crazy play there right at the net by both teams. But the Pioneers get the ball, and it is now 4-1 in favor of the Dons, and that's going to be a service error by number 28, that's Gibson. Ball's going to go back to the Dons, and their lead is secure right here in the second set. The lead is 5-1. And that is going to be an ace, as that is going to be off the Pioneer defense and extend the lead here for the Dons to 6-1. Again, the Dons are undefeated at home currently, the Pioneers being a prime challenger to that record so far, as that's going to be a service error for number 6. Gets the ace on the first serve, but then gets the error on the second one. Ball is going to go back to the Pioneers. Score is now 6-2. Number 15 serves it up. A nice team dig there. And unfortunately, there are a couple hits into the net. Not much that they were able to do with that. The point goes to the Pioneers. Score is now 6-3. Avery Schuell at the line for the Pioneers, and that was an absolute beauty of an ace. Able to just sneak inside as the Dons all stepped away, thought it might go out. Unfortunately for them, it didn't. Instead, it's a great ace by Schuell. Score is now 6-4. That one, though, is going to go out, and that is going to be a service error for the Pioneers. Score is now 7-4. Spanish Fork over Lehi. Serves up to the outside. An absolutely phenomenal dig by number 16. Not quite enough juice on that by number 11 of the Dons. That's Argyle. As that one falls short, hits the net. Pioneers get the ball back, and the score is now 7-5. Pioneers have cut the lead down to 2 here in the second set. A bit of a run there for the setter. That's a cross court, but it is dug up. It's going to be hands, and that is going to be a perfectly placed ball by the Pioneers. A great kill there by number 25. As the score is now 7-6, the Pioneers are slowly chiseling away at this Dons lead and are now within really good striking distance. But that's served by number 7, sails out of bounds as Bailey Holland, the freshman for the Pioneers. Ball is back to the Dons, and the score is 8-6. Number 5 on the serve. That's going to be an overpass, but a nice dig by number 7. A little bit of miscommunication. And that is going to be an absolutely phenomenal pancake dig there. Ball's over back to the Dons, sets it up on the outside. And that is going to be a great hit by Argyle. A good kill for the senior as the Dons extend the lead now to 9-6. Again with the lefty serve, hoping for the corner, and she gets it. An absolute beautiful ace by number 5 of the Dons. Able to find that back right corner. The score is now 10-6. The Dons are once again rallying here a little bit. That one is going to be out of play, just barely missing the back line there. Score is now 10-7. Gibson on the service line. That is going to be an ace for Gibson. Unfortunately, that one just kind of sailed down. A little bit of a hard dig there for number 5. That one looks a lot better. Conti sends it on over, and there is all sorts of miscommunication there for the Pioneers as their libero comes charging in to try to get that second hit, but unsuccessful. The ball goes back on over to the Dons. The score is 11-8. Spanish Fork over Lehi. Argyle with the serve. That is right at the net. Actually, a great job by the Dons to recover on that one. Set goes to the outside as number 21 for the Pioneers absolutely smashes that one. That's Maddie Lindsay, a senior for the Pioneers, and she'll now be back on the service line as the score is 11-9. Spanish Fork Dons over the Lehi Pioneers in set 2. The Pioneers won the first set 25-21. Condi sets up to the outside, a little tip shot there for 23. And another blistering hit by Lindsay, but this one is blocked nicely by number 23 of the Dons. The score is now 12-9. 23 with the serve, the set to the outside again. Condi's able to get herself set up, goes to the middle. That's gonna be down. A nice kill by Kennedy Charlton, the sophomore middle hitter for the Dons. Again, those middle hits are important for the team. That way you're not always, the other team isn't keying in on your outside hitters. That one's going to be up for Conti, who goes for the dunk, but is unsuccessful. But instead goes right over the top, number 6, right through the block, and an absolutely great kill for the Dons right there as it extends their lead to 14-9. It's going to be a substitution here for the Pioneers. Number 12, Marissa Page coming in. Oh, what a recovery there. Unfortunately, the hit was a bit off for the Pioneers as it goes off the net. And the Dons are looking really good here so far in set 2 as the lead is now extended to 15-9. It's going to be an overpass and an easy dunk for the middle, Kennedy Charlton. As now you're seeing the mighty Dons really showing how good they've been so far at home. Again, they are undefeated, and this is more what we've typically seen from them. That one goes to the outside. A nice dig by number 6. A little bit of miscommunication there. 6 and 10 both going for that hit. That one's back up. It's going to go to the back, and a great kill from the back by number 5. The lefty comes in with some thunder. And the Dons are absolutely killing it here in the second set as their lead is now 17-9 over the Pioneers. Again, this is a Pioneer team that came into this game 19-9 overall on the season and only had 2 losses in the region. So this is not some scrub team, folks. The Pioneers are really good competition. That's going to be over the block. Condi sets up her middle. This time it is blocked. A good team effort there by the Pioneers. They have been going to Charlton quite a bit, so they did have a feeling that might be coming, and they were ready and set up for that block. Score is now 17-10. Dons over the Pioneers. Number 8 back there for the serve. That's going to be an overpass and an absolute killer of a shot there by number 15 of the Pioneers. Avery Schuwell once again showing her power. It's Macy Faddis on the back line, the service line for the Pioneers. That one is set up for number 6. A nice tip shot. A little bit of confusion, a free ball. Gets it back over to Condi, who goes right back to 6, who goes with another tip shot. And this time the kill is successful. A nice play there by the Dons, looking for the middle of the court, and they are able to find it. And we are here in set 2, and it has been a great one for the Dons. His lead is 18-11, and we'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. We are in the second set of a good one here in Spanish Fork. It is the Spanish Fork Dons against the Lehi Pioneers. The Dons have a commanding 18-11 lead here in set 2, hoping to even up the match here as the Pioneers were able to take the first set. It's going to go to the outside. A nice dig there by the libero for the Pioneers. Sent over to the outside. 23 gets the dig. Condi sets it up on the outside. A nice dig again by the libero of the Pioneers. Sent over to the outside. And an absolute rip of a shot, but the libero digs that up. But there it is, a nice block by number 5 and number 10. Great defense there by the Dons, and extends their lead. Score is now 19-11. Condi on the service line sends up a bit of a changeup. Oh, great dig by 23. Argyle with the back hit. Trying to work the angles there are the Pioneers. Condi sets it back up to number 5. And it finds the inside of the line. An absolutely great kill by number 5. Score is now 20-11, and you just hear the crowd going nuts. That one sails beyond the mark a little bit. Ball goes back to the Pioneers. Score is 20-12. Millie Gibson on the service line for the Pioneers. Argyle sends it back over. There's a set to the middle. Montag, and she does a great job to do just a nice tip to get the point there for the Pioneers. One of the Pioneers hitters hit by the ball. Wasn't quite ready for that. The score is 20-13. Pioneers down by 7. Right back to number 6. Goes for the cross-court shot, but just a bit too much sauce on it. As the Pioneers are coming back here in set 2, they are still down by 6. The score is 20-14. The Dons have looked dominant in this set, though. Once again to the outside. Going for a bit of a change-up on that one. Doesn't quite work. Goes for the dig, but not able to save that one. But a good effort by number 5. As the Pioneers are finding a little bit of luck here with Gibson on the service line, getting a couple points here. Score is 20-15. Dons are looking for a point here to stop the bleeding a bit. Goes to the middle. Charlton sends it over. but dug up a nice block. And that one is able to just find its way past the block and able to land, and that's another point for the Pioneers. They're doing a great job of cutting into this lead, and a well-timed timeout here for the Dons, as the score is now 20-16, as the Pioneers have made it a little bit closer here in set 2. We'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. Lehi Pioneers currently have the ball. The score is 20-16 here in set 2 of this game between the Pioneers and our Spanish Fork Dons. And that one is going to be out. Hit just a little long by the Pioneers as the Dons get the ball back and still are in control here in this set. The score is 21-16 now. As number 6 is on the service line. It's a great serve there, but a nice dig. And a nice job there by 23 to get to that. And that was a great hit there by Montag for the Pioneers to get that point. Pioneers trying to keep this one close. They do sub in, hoping to be able to cut a little bit more into this lead. The score is 21-17. Sets it up to the middle, but once again, they are ready for it. As Montag is in on the block on that one once again, along with Maddie Lindsay. The Pioneers have cut the lead down to 3 here for the Dons. That is going to be out. Once again, service errors not being kind to the Pioneers in this particular game. Score is now 22-18. And that is going to be mishit by the libero, number 7 for the Pioneers. And that is going to be an ace for number 16 of the Dons. That's Allison Wilson. Score is now 23-18. As that one is hit just beyond the back line. It's going to be number 7 on the service line, Bailey Holland for the Pioneers. The score is 23-19. The Dons 2 points away from getting set number 2. It's going to be set to the outside, but just a bit too far for Argyle to be able to recover on that one. The score is now 23-20. They're going to let that one go out, a wise decision. And the Dons are a point away from taking set 2 and tying this match up and really making things interesting. Number 5 on the service line. Get it over to the setter, sets it to the outside to Lindsay, who hits it through the block and gets the big, big kill for the Pioneers to keep this set alive. Score is 24-21. Marissa Page now is serving it up for the Pioneers. And that is going to find its way in. It is able to drop itself in. The crowd is in disbelief. But I'm pretty sure the refs got that one right, as the score is now 24-22. That's going to be a bit of a wayward hit, but they are able to recover fairly nicely from that one. Lindsay sets up another huge kill. Maddie Lindsay doing a great job of keeping the Pioneers alive in this one, as set 2 has now become a real close one here. The score is 24-23 in favor of the Dons, and we'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. We are currently in the second set of this matchup between the Lehi Pioneers and the Spanish Fork Dons, as that one is sent to the middle and then dunked down once again. Maddie Lindsay coming in huge for the Pioneers, as this one is now all knotted up at 24-24. What once seemed like a pretty sure bet of a second set here for the Dons has turned into a real nail-biter. That one's sent over to Argyle. Goes over the block, but it is dug up. Lindsay once again with the absolutely huge kill for the Pioneers. Her hits have so much force. You can hear it from up here, like just loud and clear. Now it's actually game point here for the Pioneers. They've got the lead 25-24. Condi goes for the dunk, unsuccessful. The joust at the net, and the Pioneers are able to pull it off, as once again they are right at the net. They get the victory here in the second set. What looked like was going to be a potential easy second set here for the Dons turns into another victory here for the Pioneers as they take set number 2 after taking the first set. And now the Dons are in quite the hole here in this match as the Pioneers have taken these first 2 sets. We'll be back here for set 3 on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. This is set 3 of this matchup between the Lehi Pioneers and the Spanish Fork Dons. So that one is set up to number 6, and it goes straight into the net as the Pioneers take the first point here of set 3. The Pioneers have a 2-0 lead so far in this match, taking the second set 26-24, an absolute thriller. And they also won the first set 25-21. A nice dig there by Lindsay. And a beautiful hit by number 15, Avery Schuwell, as that's a 2-0 lead here in the third set for the Pioneers. The Dons are really looking for answers here in the third set as they're in a hole. It looked like they were coasting to victory in the second set as they were up by 18-11 at one point and really had an opportunity to really seal it off. Instead, they let the Pioneers sneak in and take that second set. They set up a nice block and overpass. Another amazing dig by number 5, keeping this particular point alive for the Dons. That's where it ends as Montag tags that one for another kill. And it's a 3-0 lead for the Pioneers. So the Dons are really desperately looking for a side out here. Unfortunately for them, that goes off of Argyle. It's another point for the Pioneers. They're going to sub out Argyle and bring in number 22 to help with the defense. But the best kind of defense is the one where you don't really have to do anything, as that is a service error there for the Pioneers. Gives the Dons the first point, their first point of the third set here. Couple substitutions for the Pioneers to shore up their defense as Condi now is on the service line. And that's going to be set up to Condi, over to number 6, who's able to get it through the block. Gets the touch on the block as it sails out. Score is now 4-2, the Pioneers over the Dons. Condi with the serve once more. Set up to the outside, Montag with a great kill. It's the hitters of the Pioneers have looked very impressive in this game. Lots of force, lots of power behind their hits. Score is now 5-2. That is going to be Julia Montag on the service line now. Condi sets it up to the outside for number 5. And is going to sail just out beyond the back line. A bit too much on that particular hit as the lead now extends to 6-2. There's going to be a timeout here by Spanish Fork to talk over things as they are currently in a 6-2 hole in this critical third set. We'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. This is the third set of this matchup between the Lehi Pioneers and the Spanish Fork Dons. Dons able to get that one over the net. Bit of a miss hit there by Lindsay. They are still able to get it to the outside, though. A nice dig by Condi. Number 6 goes up, and is Argyle with the back row hit, but it is dug up. Another free ball. Condi sends it to number 6. Once again, another dig by Lindsay. Goes to the middle, and that is going to be a kill by Montag, who has been stellar there in the middle for the Pioneers in this game. Ball goes back over to the other Montag, Julia, who's on the service line. The score is 7-2, Lehi over Spanish Fork. That one's going to be up and right by the net. And that is going to be a point for the Pioneers. Again, the Dons defense struggling here right now in the third set, just looking for any kind of side out they can get. And that's going to be sent on over. There's the setup to Schuell, who lays an absolutely beautiful hit as the Pioneers are really asserting themselves. A nice effort there by number 23 trying to get that dig, but there was just so much power on that hit by Schuell. Again, the hitters, Schuell, Montag, and Lindsay have been very impressive in this game for the Pioneers. Condi sets it up for number 5. A great block by the Pioneers. Tries to send it over to the back corner. And again, Schuell lines it up and just absolutely lays it down. As now it's looking pretty crazy here for the Dons. The score is now 10-2. The Pioneers taking a commanding lead. The Dons have really struggled to find any kind of answer for the Pioneers offense. Once again, over to number 5. Gets it through the block, and this time it lands. An absolutely vital kill for the Dons to kind of stop the bleeding, as the Pioneers had been on an absolute tear here in the third set. This now gives them an opportunity to put some more points on the board. The score is currently 10-3. Number 6 gets the ace. A wonderful effort by the libero, number 7. That's Bailey Holland for the Pioneers, but just too much for her to handle as number 6 gets another ace. She has been quite effective on the service line for the Dons. Definitely well handled on that one, but a nice play by the middle, Kennedy Charlton. That's going to be a timeout there as the Dons have worked themselves back into this game here in set 3. We'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17 in this third set of this matchup between the Lehi Pioneers and the Spanish Fork Dons, as that one is able to sneak in there for the point for the Pioneers. The score is 11-5. The Pioneers with the 6-point advantage here. Again, Spanish Fork is number 1 in their region and number 1 in the state in 4A, but this would definitely put a damper on that record as Argyle sends that one over, but a nice dig by the libero. Again, over to the middle, and once again, Montag with the kill. Score is now 12-5. Serve by Schuell. Over to 5. A nice play by number 12 of the Pioneers. And once again, Lindsay coming in hot. An absolute scorcher of a hit. The Pioneers extend their lead 13-5. That one's going to be into the net. Bit of a saving grace for the Dons. So they get the ball back here. The score is now 13-6. Lehi over Spanish Fork. It's going to be Allison Wilson on the service line. And they answer back with the service error of their own. Definitely not what the Dons had hoped for there, as they definitely need a rally here to help cut into this lead. And that is the serve for the Pioneers, and that one also goes into the net. 3 straight service errors here in the third set. Score is now 14-7. That one's going to be up, set over to the outside. The blockers were up, but not quite able to get there, as that is another absolute bomb of a hit by these pin hitters of the Pioneers. Their offense has looked very impressive in this game. On the service line is number 12 for the Pioneers, gets sent over. Argyle with the hit, but just a bit long. A nice thought there on the cross hit, but unfortunately does not drop. Score is 16-7. Nice dig, a good set, and a slide hit there by 23. Unsuccessful though, and there is Maddie Lindsay again with the monster of a kill. As the score is now 17-7 in favor of the Pioneers. Marissa Page doing a good job for the Pioneers on the service line. Sends it over to the outside. This time it goes through the block. An absolutely needed kill for the Dons. Argyle now on the service line, hoping to cut into this huge Pioneer lead. A tip shot, a great save, but not quite enough. Wonderful effort by the Dons defense, but just a bit too much and out of reach for them. Once again, just struggling with knowing how to defend these Pioneer hitters. Lindsay on the service line. Conti gets it over to number 6, and there is a nice kill for the Dons. Nice job there by Kelsey Mansfield. Score is now 18-9. And that is going to be a way up and out of play after that hit. A nice ace by number 23 of the Dons, and an opportunity for them to just cut into this lead. Score is now 18-10. Once again, we have a timeout here. And as I said, the score is 18-10. Lehi Pioneers over the Spanish Fork Dons. We'll be back with the rest of this set on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. We are in the third set of this matchup between the Spanish Fork Dons and Lehi Pioneers. There is an overpass by the Pioneers, allowing the Dons to get set up, and that goes right off the hands. A nice kill there by number 6, Kelsey Mansfield. Exactly what the Dons wanted here, hoping to rally back into this one. Score is now 18-11 for the Pioneers. Sit over to the outside, Schuwell. Once again over to the outside as well, number 6 Mansfield dug up. Schuwell gets blocked, but they are able to recover. There's the free ball, as Conti can now set it up. Mansfield gets some air, but gets blocked, but does send it back over the net. Schuwell gets set up, a nice tip shot, but a nice job there by Conti and by Charlton to keep that one alive. And that one is able to find the line, a nice kill. Mansfield once again doing work for the Dons as they are cutting into this lead. The score is now 18-12. Back hit there by Montag. Conti sends over to Mansfield. Mansfield once again with the absolute killer of a shot. My goodness. The velocity and force on that one was unreal. An absolutely baller of a hit there by Mansfield. The score is now 18-13. The Dons are finding some new life here in set 3. We've got a call here on the Pioneers. And they're coming over to the ref to get some instruction on what's happening and what's going on. Point was given to the Dons, and the score is now 18-14. Again, this is a key matchup here in Region 10. Lehi is currently in third place, Spanish Fork currently in first. If Spanish Fork loses this game, they go into a tie at the top of the region, and Lehi squeaks in a little bit closer to contention, as that is going to be a serve. A nice dig. Condi sends it over to Mansfield. Tip shot. A great dig by Montag. Saves the point there. And a little bit of confusion, not quite knowing who was going to hit that one, giving the Pioneers a bit of advantage. A nice dig by 23. Sends it to Argyle. Montag sends it up, and it goes through the block. Gibson able to help stop the bleeding for the Pioneers, as the Dons had been rallying back, but that is a big answer for the Pioneers. The score is now 19-14. Macy Faddis on the line for the Pioneers, and that sneaks out of bounds. Wasn't quite sure if that was going to make its way out, but it did. And that is a big break for the Dons on the service error by the Pioneers. Condi on the line. Sets it over to Montag. A great block. A huge block for the Dons. Kennedy Charlton coming in with the help there from number 5, but a huge game-changing block for the Dons. Score is now 19-16. The Pioneers have the answer, though, as they're able to get the kill there. Score is now 20-16. The Dons hanging on for life here in set 3. Number 2, Julia Montag on the service line. Overpass and a kill there by the other Montag sister. This one, Lydia, the senior for the Pioneers, who has been phenomenal in this game, getting another kill. The score is now 21-16. Julia Montag once again on the serve. Argyle sends it up. Condi sends it over to the outside, number 5. And that is going to be set out of bounds. They thought that that one might sneak in, but luckily for the Dons, it didn't. Mansfield now on the line for the Dons. The score is now 21-17. Sent over to Shewell. A great dig by 23. Over to Argyle. Dug up. Button overpass. Back to Condi. To number 5. Punches it. And it goes out of bounds. But I'm hearing from the refs, it looks like there's some confusion. It looks like one of the players of the Pioneers ran into the net. And the point is instead awarded to the Dons. A huge break for Spanish Fork, as they're now working with a 3-point deficit. As that one sneaks out of bounds. They were hoping that would catch the back line. Unfortunately for the Dons, it doesn't. Score is now 22-18 for the Pioneers. Shewell on the service line. Condi over to Argyle, who gets it blocked. A nice job by Montag and company to be able to get that block. And we are going to have a timeout here as the Dons are playing for their lives here. Score is 23-18 with Lehi up 2-0 in this match. We'll be back on Spanish Fork 17. Welcome back to Spanish Fork 17. This is set 3 of this matchup between the Lehi Pioneers and the Spanish Fork Dons. The Pioneers are 2 points away from winning this match. Score is currently 23-18. Lindsay with the hit, and that is going to find its way in. Somehow that hit stays in bounds. A nice job by Mansfield to dig up that smoker of a hit by Lindsay, and somehow the Pioneers don't go after it and it falls in. A huge break for the Spanish Fork Dons. The score is 23-19 now. An overpass, Argyle goes up but gets blocked. Condi over to number 5. A good dig by the libero, number 7, Holland. Once again over to Lindsay, this time not able to be dug up by Mansfield, and it is now match point here for the Pioneers. Again, the Dons are undefeated at home. This would be a huge victory for the Pioneers, not only for their region, but just to be able to say that they defeated the Dons at home, something no one else has been able to do this season. And there it is. The big block that sends Lehi home happy on this one. They are able to score the sweep here against the Spanish Fork Dons. It moves the Spanish Fork Dons on over to a tie in first place in their region. They are now 11-3 overall, 7-2 in region, and are now 6-1 at home. The Lehi Pioneers move to 20-9, 11-3 in region, and are now 5-1 on the road. A very impressive road record for the Pioneers as they scored the sweep here in Spanish Fork. I'm Angela Rose. For our crew here at Spanish Fork 17, thank you for tuning in so much. We appreciate you and have a wonderful night.